hell yeah, or no. What consent, desire, and long-term love actually require. There is something important and something incomplete in this argument. Let's take both seriously. What the argument gets right. The core impulse behind the hell yeah principle is legitimate and worth defending. Consent is not a technicality. A woman, or anyone, who says no to physical intimacy with their partner is exercising a right that does not expire at the altar. Marriage is not a perpetual consent contract. The idea that a spouse is obligated to provide sexual access regardless of their own desire is not just psychologically damaging. It is, in most modern legal systems, recognized as a form of assault when forced. This is not a controversial position. It is the baseline from which any honest conversation about desire in long-term relationships must begin. Reluctant compliance is not connection. If a man's partner is physically present but emotionally absent, going through motions out of obligation, duty, or conflict avoidance, what he is receiving is not intimacy. It is a performance of intimacy. And at some level, both partners know it. Relationships built on obligatory compliance rather than genuine desire are relationships in which both people are, in different ways, suffering. Chasing unwilling partners is corrosive. A man who persistently pursues a partner who consistently does not want him is not demonstrating love. He is demonstrating an inability to accept reality. That pursuit damages his self-respect, damages her autonomy, and produces a dynamic of pressure and resentment that destroys whatever genuine connection might have existed. These things are true, they are important, and they are worth saying clearly. Where the argument becomes incomplete, but she must be a hell yeah girl, applied as an absolute rule to long-term relationships and marriage, misunderstands how desire works in sustained partnerships and sets a standard that no long-term relationship can consistently meet. Desire is not a constant. In the early stages of a relationship, the limerence phase, governed by dopamine and novelty, desire tends to be intense, spontaneous, and mutually overwhelming. This is neurologically real, and it does not last. For most people, in most long-term relationships, desire shifts from spontaneous to responsive. It does not arrive unbidden, but it can be kindled by the right conditions, initiated by the right moment, and become genuine once engaged. Research by sex therapists Emily Nagoski and others documents this extensively. A significant percentage of people, disproportionately but not exclusively women, experience responsive desire rather than spontaneous desire. They do not feel desire before initiation. They feel it during and after. Treating the absence of spontaneous hell yeah desire as a verdict on the relationship ignores this fundamental reality of human sexuality.
A no in a long-term relationship carries context. A no from a stranger means I don't want this with you ever, under any circumstances, because there is no established relationship within which that no exists. A no from a long-term partner can mean many different things. Not now. Not like this. I'm exhausted. I'm stressed about work. We haven't connected emotionally in weeks. I need something from you that I haven't been able to ask for. I feel unseen. I feel taken for granted. Treating all of these as equivalent to a stranger's no as a final, unconditional verdict on desire collapses crucial distinctions that matter enormously for understanding what is actually happening in a relationship. The hell yeah standard applied absolutely would end most long-term relationships. If the rule is that sex should only happen when both partners are spontaneously, enthusiastically, unconditionally eager, the vast majority of long-term couples, including deeply happy ones, would have almost no sex. Life intervenes. Bodies are tired. Minds are elsewhere. Children exist. Stress accumulates. Desire in long-term relationships requires cultivation, not just measurement. The harder conversation here is where the argument needs to go, and usually doesn't. Consistent low desire in a long-term relationship is information, but it is not simple information. It may mean she is not attracted to this specific man. It may mean she is not attracted to anyone. Hypoactive sexual desire disorder is real and treatable. It may mean the relationship has accumulated resentment, disconnection, or unresolved conflict that has shut down desire. It may mean the man has stopped being a person she finds desirable, not because of who he fundamentally is, but because of how he shows up in the relationship. It may mean she is depressed, anxious, hormonally disrupted, or exhausted in ways that have nothing to do with him. These are all different problems with different solutions. Treating them all as the same thing, she said no. Therefore, she is not a Helia girl. Therefore, the relationship is invalid, short-circuits the actual diagnostic work that a troubled, intimate life requires. Desire in long-term relationships is co-created. The research on what maintains desire in long-term partnerships, Esther Perel's clinical work, Emily Nagowski's research, John Gottman's longitudinal studies consistently points to the same factors: maintained individuality, emotional safety combined with erotic tension, feeling seen as a person rather than as a function, the presence of novelty and play. These are conditions that both partners either create or fail to create together. A man who wants a hell yeah partner and is consistently receiving reluctant compliance or refusal needs to ask not just is she a hell yeah girl, but what are the conditions in which her desire either flourishes or dies, and what is my role in those conditions? This is not to assign blame. It is to recognize that desire is not a fixed property of a person that they bring or fail to bring to a relationship. It is something that emerges from between two people, shaped by how they treat each other, how safe they feel, how seen they are, how alive the relationship keeps them feeling.
What is actually true and what should be done with it. True. No one is obligated to have sex they don't want. Ever. Including in marriage. True. A relationship in which one partner consistently does not desire the other is a relationship with a serious problem that deserves honest attention. True. Chasing and pressuring an unwilling partner produces misery for everyone and resolves nothing. True. Desire in long-term relationships is responsive, contextual, and cultivated, not spontaneous and unconditional. True. A consistent pattern of rejection in an intimate relationship is information that deserves to be taken seriously, explored honestly, and if necessary, acted upon, including by ending the relationship if it cannot be repaired. False. That a single no, or even a pattern of no's, constitutes a simple, unambiguous verdict on desire that requires no further investigation. False. That the hell yeah standard, applied as an absolute rule to long-term partnership, reflects how desire actually works in sustained human relationships. The honest conclusion, the hell yeah principle, contains a true core. Desire matters, obligation is not intimacy, and a relationship in which one partner consistently does not want the other is a relationship in genuine distress. But applied as a binary absolute, she said no, therefore she is not a hell yeah girl. Therefore the relationship is over or invalid. It mistakes a starting point for a destination. The no is the beginning of a conversation, not the end of one. What does the no mean? What are the conditions that produced it? What would need to change for desire to return? Is this a temporary state or a permanent verdict? Is this about him, about her, about the relationship, about something neither of them has named yet? These are the questions that distinguish adults navigating the genuine complexity of long-term love from people applying simple rules to complicated human situations. The hell yeah standard is a useful alarm. It is a poor substitute for understanding.